guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. Spright Sprind is here in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and that means that Sprite has been given a buff. On top of that, a myriad of other decks have also gotten a buff due to this individual card. But one thing that they haven't gotten is the second card that Sprite got, being Double Cross. Now, we're going to talk about these and specifically what they do for the deck, but I do want to talk about as well the Bystials. Bystials have now been released in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which means that, hey, we have a good hand trap, and yes, more or less a hand trap for the tier matchup. So yeah, I'm going to be showcasing the Bystial Sprite list that we have here, and just kind of going over the Bystials and Sprite and the new way to play the game and kind of how it functions. So let's quickly do the card by card and the explanation. We're going to start off with the standard stuff. Now, Sprite Blue did go to 2, so on this list we are only playing the 2 Sprite Blue. Don't know why they did this. I don't know. I think they just don't like sprites, and this was the hit. I don't know why we wouldn't have put, like, Elf to 1. I feel like that would have been a bigger hit or something along those lines, but alas, the blue to 2 kind of does stuff. It really doesn't matter, though. Putting cards to 2 really doesn't change anything. It's just an aesthetic thing. Moving on, we have the Triple Jet. I'm also only playing 1 red and 1 carrot. Previously, we were playing multiples of this, but now we have better targets and better cards that we can go into. So instead, we're cutting those down to 1 apiece. Moving on to the, we're also playing the 2 starter, the 1 smasher, and the 1 double cross. Let's actually talk about double cross here. Target a monster on the field or in either graveyard, activate one of these effects, attach the targeted monster to a rank 2 monster, or place it under a link arrow. That's basically all it's doing. You can either special summon it or place it under from your opponent's side of the field. This card is insane. It allows you to, 1, actually deal with tier monsters, which is very cool, because it steals the monster, meaning that your opponent would either have to use a shuffler or something like that, or negate the effect, or something, because then you just steal the monster and now they can't fusion summon. Fantastic. 2, it also allows you to steal potentially like a Magnamut or something like that, another monster on your opponent's side of the field. For example, if they normal summon something like a Swap Frog, you could just steal it, and now, boom, they don't have that Swap Frog, or a myriad of other things, right? You can steal a piece, like a Kit Kalos, you can steal an M-Pen, etc., etc. And the fact that you can also put it underneath a material is very nice as well. You could also just put it underneath one of your link arrows. Very cool. So yeah, all in all, this is a very strong card. It's also searchable off of Jet, which is very cool. Moving on to the rest of the cards, we have ourselves the Swap Frog engine, so we're playing the triple Swap Frog, the 1 Ronin Totem. We're also playing the Nimble engine, that being 2 Nimble Angler, and the triple Beaver. Nimble Angler is a very, very strong card. It allows you, when it's sent to the graveyard from hand or deck, allows you to special summon 2 level 3 or lower Nimble monsters. This allows you to summon 2 Beavers or a Beaver and an Angler, which then can be used to go into any of your Sprite extra deck monsters. Very powerful. On top of that, we are playing the a myriad of hand traps, the triple Maxi, triple Ash Blossom, the double Shifter. I was originally going to cut the Shifter, but Shifter just happens to be very, very good in this deck. Yes, it does hurt a little bit more now that we have things like Angler and the Bystials, but it's still such an absolute powerhouse against a myriad of decks that it just seemed like it wasn't really worth cutting. So yeah, I just continued to play it. Sure, the Bystials are good, but we're also not playing... You know, we only have access to 1 Magnamut, we only have access to 1 Druis Worm, so it's not like we actually have the ability to continually play more and more Bystials instead of the Dimension Shifter. So that's why we went for that instead. And then, of course, we're playing the double Infip. We're also maxing out on... not maxing out, but we're playing a lot of the Bystials. We're playing the 1 Magnamut, the 1 Saronir, the 1 Druis Worm, and 2 Baldrake. Baldrake just happens to be kind of the best one. It's not like Saronir really does anything, so we're playing the 2 Baldrake for a total of 5. So there you go. As for the rest of the cards, we have a bunch of spells. We have 3 of the triple Tactics. We have the 1 Prosperity. We have double Called By, and then we have, I believe that's it for the spells. And then we have 1 extra card, that being Testudo Erot Newman, or Turtle. The Turtle is very good. Neither player can special summon monsters with 1800 or more attack, so you special summon this in defense, and it's basically not outable by an opponent's monster unless they have something with 1900 attack that they can normal summon. Very difficult to do, or if they can boost it in some other way. So, how in the world are we summoning this? What are we doing? Why do we have this card? Notably, it is an Aqua, which means that you can send it off of Swap Frog. Swap Frog we can grab off of Gigantic Sprite, and with a search off of something like a Jet, we can grab ourselves the Double Cross, allowing us to then special summon our own monster from the graveyard to a Link Arrow, like for example at the link point of Elf, allowing us to then prevent our opponent from even targeting this and having basically a floodgate on our opponent without really causing too many issues. Especially since things like Elf and the like are still able to grab up our other extra deck or main deck monsters. And then we can just also use it as link material to go into something like a Sprind or an Elf or whatever it may be, just kind of getting it off of the field since it's not too difficult to go into something else. So there you go. As for the extra deck, let's go into that. We're playing the one Djinn Buster, we're playing one Mannequin Cat. Honestly, Mannequin Cat is very cuttable. You could play this, you could cut the Mannequin Cat for the second Sprind. Honestly, you probably should. I'm only playing the one. You should probably play the second. I just didn't want to play the second one. I wanted to play Mannequin Cat, that's why. But yeah, definitely play the second Sprind instead of Mannequin Cat. We're playing the one Onibimaru, the double Gigantic, the one Wolo. Wolo can be made off of the Bystials. It's just kind of a good extra deck monster for those. And then the one Zeus. We're not playing Downer just because there's like not really a good option or like time to go for it. So there you go. We're playing the IP Masquerena, the out to Baguska, the Dark double Elf, one Sprind, again this should be two, the one Avermax, and the one Underworld Goddess. Again, Underworld Goddess is a cuttable card, you could definitely cut this, but the reason that I'm not is just because I tend to find more people, or like it tends to come up a little bit more often as like an out to specific problematic boss monsters and stuff like that. Just being able to link off your opponent's card is very nice, so that's why we're playing this. It feels almost like a necessity currently in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, at least in a best of one. I think in a best of three where you're able to side deck and stuff like that, not really all that necessary, but in a best of one it just feels so nice. So yeah, that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going first, and wow, look at that hand. So we're going to start off here with the Swap Frog. We're going to activate the effect, and look at the win rate. Holy crap. We're going to go for the Jet here. We're going to activate the effect in order to grab up the Double Cross, and then we are going to go into Sprind. Hey, look, it's the first instance of Sprind. Oh, no. So there is a reason that off of the Swap Frog, we went for the Ronin Totem here first, and that is because if Sprind gets negated, we do have the ability to then just go for the Gigantic here. So we're going to go for a Gigantic, we're going to activate the effect, we're going to go for the blue here, we're going to activate the effect of the blue to grab the red, we're going to special summon the red, and then we're going to link those off into Elf. We're going to activate the effect of the Elf, bring back the blue, and then we can go and link those two off into IP Masquerena. And then we can set 2 and pass. Now, the reason I decided to go for this is because now we have the ability to grab back that red. We also have the Ash, the Maxi, the Imperm, and the Double Cross as well. So we could even double cross back something like red if we need to. So there's that. My opponent's going to start off with the branded opening. I'm going to go for the Maxi. Did you see that usage rate? Did you see it? It was at 86%, 87% for Maxi. Incredible. I'm going to bring that up like every time. But there's no win rate on that one. Do you know it does have win rates? You know, things like Jet or regular cards. But no, Maxi, not allowed. Do you want to know why? Because it's basically in every game, so it has a nice even 50% win rate. Because it loses just as much as it wins, right? Anyway, they're going to special summon out their Aluber. They also sent to the graveyard the Retribution from their hand on opening, so they do have that as well. I'm just going to negate. We have the Imperm, might as well negate it. They're going to go to the main phase. They're going to go for Fallen of Volbaz. I'm going to go, maybe let's not Fallen of Volbaz. This also means that they don't have anything, sorry, this would mean that they wouldn't have any follow-up because they don't have any cards in hand, but also a second called by. Fantastic. Love to see it. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. We're going to go for the IP Masquerena. I'm going to chain it the Elf to bring back the blue, just so that we can kind of link off my opponent's monster for Underworld Goddess. Yeah, there you go. Usage rate, pretty high. Win rate, also very high. We're going to draw the called by. Very funny. We're just going to go to battle phase and attack in. We still have the Ash Blossom. We still have the called by. I'm still feeling pretty good. They're going to go for the Retribution. They're going to grab the opening back to their hand. And again, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Doesn't really matter. They're going to pass the turn and go into the main phase. They're going to activate opening. They're going to activate the Magnemite. Okay. I don't think they know how their own cards work. I decided not to Ash this because I'm like, well, I really only care about keeping this Ash for Maxi, or not Maxi, for branded fusion. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like, they literally, I don't think there's an out to the Underworld Goddess at this point. We draw literally the only card that doesn't win us the game on the spot right there, which is very funny. But it's still good. Yeah, they can't use that Bystial that they just happened to draw into. Out comes the Druid Swarm, and yeah, alas, here we are. They didn't draw into it. They searched it. There we go. There's a 2. Fantastic. We're going to use that in order to go into the Spright Elf. We're going to activate the effect of the Spright Elf to bring back the red. They go for the Druid Swarm, and this is why I targeted red as well. They had a Bystial. They had 2, actually. So they're going to target 2 different dark monsters. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we're targeting the red to go for the Gigantic here. So we're going to go for a Gigantic. We're going to activate the effect of the Gigantic, go for blue. Blue is then going to activate the effect in order to go into the red. And then we also have the ability to yoink up one of their monsters. And at that point, the game is over. They realize it. They scoop it up. Good game. All right, here we are once again going first. And wow, look at that hand. It's literally like the exact same thing. My opponent's going to go for the Maxi, to the which I will go for the Ash Blossom. 62%, that's crazy. Anyway, we're going to summon out the Nimble Angler here. We're then going to go for the Gigantic. We're going to search out the blue. Blue will search for the Jet. Jet will then grab up the Double Cross. And I did make a bit of a mistake here. Do you want to know why? Because I could have actually gone for the Swap Frog off of the Gigantic to then special summon out our... bounce back the Swap Frog, then special summon out the Swap Frog, pitching the Nimble Angler. Angler would then give us 2 additional materials. So I guess it's not a mistake so much as it is a different line that I could have gone for. It doesn't allow me to search out Double Cross, so do with that as you will. We're going to go for the Elf here. We're going to bring back the Angler. We're going to link off into the IP Masquerena. Pretty similar to the previous game. My opponent has 1 less card because they maxied me, but I still have maxi as well. So there you go. They're gonna go and try to proceed to the end, or to the to main phase 2, or not main phase 2, to the battle phase. They're gonna go for the called by. I'm gonna go for a Double Cross, knowing that they have the evenly matched. So I'm just going to make sure that this blue comes out after they tried to call by the elf target there. We're gonna go for the blue here, grab up the Jet as additional follow up, and then before they can proceed to the end of to the battle phase, they're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for the Crusadia. They're then going to steal with triple tactics talents and normal summon Kelbeck. Interesting. They're going to walk into the blue, they're going to walk into my monster, or into me, and then go for the Nightmare Phoenix. Activate the effect of the Nightmare Phoenix, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine, I guess we'll just negate. They did have the evenly matched, which would have been so much better for them to actually just utilize the evenly matched and then go for the triple tactics, but alas, my opponent isn't exactly the brightest, so, it was almost a good bait, you know, threatening the battle phase. Hey, I have evenly matched. Turns out they did, and then they just didn't utilize it, so... there you go. Yeah, they definitely could have stolen my monster, done the exact same play, except now I literally have nothing on my field. There you go. I guess it technically accomplishes the same thing, but they wouldn't have had to discard anything. So, I guess it technically worked out all the same, but kind of hard to say whether or not that was better. They also could have potentially drawn 2 instead, and hoped that that would have worked as well. Semantics. Anyway, we're going to go for the Nimble Angler, special summon the Jet. My opponent realizes the game is over, and concedes. Cool. Thank you, Cool Bob Man. Alright, here we are going with a different deck, or a different hand, as you can see here. We drew the Saronir, but we're going to start off with the Pot of Prosperity. Revealing off the top, yeah, Jet. Jet seems fantastic. Now, I'm not going to go for the Shifter here, and I feel like I should have. I do have the Saronir, so I'm still feeling pretty good. They just need to hit only 1 name, which is exactly what they do. So they're going to go for their effects here, and I'm going to go and activate the Saronir, banishing their tier monster, and now I get a look at their hand, and look at that hand. Wow. Wow, Soliac, Crime, Scream, and Rhino, and they hard drew the Havness. Insane. Also polymerization, hilarious. I'm going to put away their only monster, which is because I probably can just steal their Havness, or something like that, making it so that their Scream is basically offline, along with all of their other cards. So that's kind of the idea here. I'm going to grab up the Smashers here, and then we're going to go for Sprind. We're going to link off the Saronir with that to go for the Angler. Angler is then going to allow us to go for the double Beaver into Gigantic Sprite. We're going to go for the blue. Blue grab Carrot, because I know all of my opponent's cards. And then we get to go for the Elf. Elf effect will then be activated. Wow, that's a 50% usage rate. Wow, that's a lot of decks that are using Elf. I'm going to go for Swap Frog. Swap Frog is going to dump another Swap Frog. And then I go for Onebimaru. Now, this is a bit interesting, but because we have the ability to just banish their monster on field, that leaves them with no monsters. So if they do happen to have a monster, we have Smashers for that, and then all of their other cards are offline and don't do anything. On top of that, we still have Carrot for whatever they could potentially even have, so I'm feeling pretty good with this Onebimaru. We then get to go for the Ronin Totem and special summon back the guy, and then go for the IP Masquerena. I'm going to go for Ronin Totem one last time just to have an additional body on the field for the Sprite Smashers, and then pass the turn. Again, feeling pretty good. They're going to go to the main phase, realize that the game is over, and concede. Nice. I love triple techs. I swear this deck can also go second. I just didn't happen to ever go second here. So, alas, here we are. We're going to start off here with the starter. The reason I decided to do this in the main phase is just due to the fact that, like, well, if I draw into triple tech, that's why. But anyway, they're going to go for the Ash Blossom here. I have to call by this and hope that they don't have a Maxi. They don't. How does this only have a 46% usage rate? Anyway, who cares? We're going to go with the blue. The blue is going to grab up the Jet. Jet will grab the Double Cross. We're going to normal summon the Angler. And since we have both Anglers in hand, we can't actually send anything off of Sprind. Sprind does have to specifically send from the deck. Also, I didn't ever mention this, but it also has the ability, sure, if you Link Summon, you can send a level 2 to the graveyard. But if another monster is special summoned while this card is on the field, you could detach an Exile material from a card you control, and then just return the monster to the hand. There you go. Out comes the Swap Frog. We're going to dump the Tetsu. Then we're going to go for the Swap Frog here and bounce itself back to the hand, pitching the Nimble Angler. Nimble Angler will then give us the 1-2 of the Beaver, and we are also going to add ourselves the Ronin Totem to the graveyard. We're going to go for the Elf. We're going to grab back the Jet because I wanted to go for Jin Buster. Out comes the Ronin Totem effect. We are then going to go for that to go for IP Masquerena, and we still have access to the gigantic Sprite. So feeling pretty good. We have the Monster Negate. We have the Maxi. We have IP Masquerena. We also have the Double Cross, and then we also have Tetsu Newman, which is very nice as well. They're going to go and reveal that they are on the Mudora, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. They're going to special summon that. They're going to activate the Kelbeck, to which I will promptly negate. I also Maxed them, which is cool. They're going to go for King of the Swamp, which is very, very funny. And I see that, and I'm like, let's not do that. So I'm going to go for the Elf here, bring back the blue. Blue is going to grab up the Jet. Then we're going to go for the IP Masquerena. We're going to link off a few of our cards into the Avermax. This then allows me to, well, do nothing, because first and foremost, my opponent is going to go for the Rhino Heart. They're going to go for the Havness here. I'm going to go and activate the Double Cross. And the reason that I have, at this point, decided to still not do anything with this Double Cross is due to the fact that Mudora is on the field. Sure, I could summon the Newman, I could summon Turtle, or it could just get shuffled away. So, not really excited about that, but we do get to go for the Havness here. They're going to go for Polymerization, summon out Guardian, kind of, I guess? I don't know. They're going to pop some cards, and then concede. Yay! I don't know what their plan was there, but I don't blame them. And we're back with the deck, and in all honesty, it's still pretty much functions the same. Honestly, you can still end on the same boards that we did previously with things like End of Anubis instead of the Newman, and then just have Double Cross instead as a disruption. But yeah, it's all just kind of up to you. You can still play the Melfies as well instead of playing more Bystials. In fact, you could actually just cut out the Shifter, as you saw in that one game that we did draw it. We didn't even use it, but that was because our hand was more specifically very good with the graveyard effects, so I decided not to. But I mean, Shifter is still very good. You could also play the Melfies, which are also very good and allow you access to more cards in more cards for disruption, but then you do have to cut more of your extra deck, things like the Wallow, things like the Mannequin Cat, or sorry, not the Mannequin Cat, the Jin Buster, etc., etc. So it's just kind of a give and take. The biggest problem that Sprite has right now is the extra deck. There are too many choices for each individual, like, corner case, and you kind of can't fill your extra deck for all of those cases. In fact, like, again, Mannequin Cat may not come up, so is it worth cutting? Yeah, probably. But what are you going to, you know, change for it? Maybe Downward, maybe a maybe a second Sprind. Maybe you're gonna cut Underworld Goddess so that you can play the Melfi engine as well. And it's just kind of like, you know, it's a give and take. What do you want to play? What can you play? What are you finding to be the most played stuff, right? Is Tier the most played? Or is Branded the most played? Or is Sprite the most played? Or what have you, you know, what are you planning to beat? Anyway, it's all just kind of subjective as to the extra deck. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I literally just said at the very end there that just play whatever. That didn't help. But yeah, what I've noticed is Mannequin Cat, not all that useful. Underworld Goddess, very useful. And other such pieces you just kind of need. Djinn Buster very rarely comes up, but it's still very good. As for the rest of this, that's going to be it. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, I like this very much, so appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.